Hello everyone, and welcome back to PPL VGC Season 1. We are in Week 2 after claiming a Week 1 victory, and this time I'm up against I Am Destroyer, coach of the Emerald City Extreme Speed. I've not played against IMD before, and he is 0-1 so far, but his Week 1 match was a very close one, and he looks to be a very strong coach. We got a tough match ahead of us. So, looking at the matchup here, we're dealing with Whimsicott, Excadrill, Tyranitar, Mega Clefable, Mega Medicham, Araquanid, Hisuian Typhlosion, Rotom Frost, Trevenant, and Crabominable. So, we're playing against a Sandcore with T-Tar Excadrill, which immediately means bad news for Mega Delphox. There is simply not a consistent way for Delphox to deal with those two. And as for the rest of the team, Mega Medicham immediately jumps out as a dangerous wall breaker that I have a hard time dealing with, especially when my big Psychic type is locked down by that T-Tar. Pair that Medicham up with Priority Tailwind from Whimsicott, and you have a pretty good and consistent game plan for my opponent to go with. Mega Clefable is also noteworthy for its bulk and Follow Me to give free turns to the Medicham, and while I expect the Mega to go to Medicham in this game, base form itemless Clefable is still a really good Pokemon, so that's perfectly usable for my opponent. Hisuian Typhlosion is another strong breaker that can be supported by Whimsicott's Tailwind, and Araquanid can be a thorn in Basculegion's side thanks to being a potential water immunity with Water Absorb. It can also go offensive Water Bubble and form a potential Trick Room core with Trevenant and Crabominable, although I'm not really expecting to see that playstyle come out. So, getting right into my build. I mentioned Mega Delphox isn't looking too great into the Sand core, so it is going to be a Mega Venusaur angle this week. This is a very physically defensive Venusaur set, meant to check Excadrill, Tyranitar, and Araquanid, and it tanks hits from almost everything on my opponent's team. Not Medicham though, I am EV'd to avoid the one-hit KO from its Zen Headbutt, but there is no getting around the fact that Venusaur is super scared of Medicham. But if I could play around that matchup, Venusaur either wins or trades very well with just about anything my opponent can bring. Giga Drain is strong stab that keeps Venusaur healthy, Sludge Bomb threatens the fairy types, Earth Power helps me beat Typhlosion, and Protect looks pretty great on this set since Venusaur is likely to draw in some powerful moves from my opponent's attempts to break through it. I expect my game plan to revolve heavily around this set. The goal is to position well so that Venusaur is either not in front of the Medicham or it's set up next to proper support to help out with that matchup. Speaking of which, to try and help out with that Medicham matchup, we have Choice Scarf Basculegion. This looks like a very strong matchup overall for the fish. Scarf Adaptability Muddy Water puts out a lot of offensive pressure, and Shadow Ball nails Medicham before it has a chance to threaten Venusaur. Basculegion is even immune to Medicham's Fake Out, so it looks like a good matchup for us. Hydro Pump is here in case I need the extra power for something like a Tyranitar in Sand, and Flip Turn makes Basculegion into a good pivot. We're max special attack modest, with enough speed for +1 Tyranitar as well as Whimsicott, and the rest goes into bulk. Even without that much defensive investment, Basculegion is bulky enough, and it can usually tank a single hit from Medicham if necessary. Next up, we have another check to the Medicham and the Sand core with this Gliscor, which is meant to tank hits from both Excadrill and Medicham and fire back with super effective stab. We have a lot of attack investment, which guarantees a one-hit KO on offensive Excadrill with high horsepower, and a roll in my favor to one-hit KO Mega Medicham with dual Wing Beat. Gliscor is also very threatening to Tyranitar and Araquanid with its dual stabs. We also have Tailwind, which is mostly just here to match Whimsicott's Tailwind if necessary, and Protect slots in as the fourth move. Despite the heavy attack investment, we're still max HP with an Impish Nature and a Yashi Berry, and all that ensures that we can survive a hit or two from Mega Medicham, even if it's packing Ice Punch. Next up, Klefki is back in its support role after a very successful Week 1. This is a physically defensive leftover set meant to sit in front of Tyranitar or Medicham and support his teammate with a variety of options. Dazzling Gleam gets decent spread damage across the board, especially important for putting super effective damage onto that Medicham. Rain Dance resets the weather off of Sand, slowing down Excadrill so that Scarf Basculegion can outspeed it. Rain also gives Basculegion a huge power boost and nerfs fire moves coming off of that Typhlosion. Thunderwave slows down everything else, which can keep the speed advantage on Basculegion even with opposing Tailwind up, or it can allow Venusaur to outspeed and pick off offensive threats. And finally, Reflect is mostly support for Venusaur, which has an even easier time sitting in front of physical attackers behind Reflect, and it even takes some pressure off of the Medicham matchup. Zen Headbutt would still hurt for sure, but with Reflect up, it just makes things a little easier for me. Next up, we have King Gambit. which, thanks to all of the ground and fighting moves my opponent will probably be throwing out, is sort of a glass cannon in this matchup, so this is where I put the Focus Sash. With max attack and adamant nature, nothing on my opponent's side really appreciates taking on Kingambit's dual stabs. We're just running 3 attacks protect with both Kowtow, Cleave, and Sucker Punch, just so I can get that dark type damage off without playing the Sucker Punch mind games. Sucker Punch does look really good though, putting a lot of pressure on fast threats like Excadrill, Medicham, and especially Typhlosion. Since I'm Focus Sash, I felt like I could invest a lot more in speed, so we're outrunning Mega Clefable even if it puts in some light speed investment of its own. The ability is Supreme Overlord on this. I thought about Defiant to potentially punish Sticky Web or Rockwanid, but I think the presence of Kingambit in the builder would discourage that anyway, and Supreme Overlord can get me some nice guaranteed power boosts if I bring Kingambit in the back. And finally, in the last slot, I am still bringing Mega Delphox to the match with a pretty standard 3 attacks protect set. I don't expect to bring Delphox in any of these games since my strategy revolves pretty heavily around Mega Venusaur, but having the option is nice for a game 2 or 3 situation. If I really can't play around the threat that is Mega Medicham, Mega Delphox should have a winning matchup into it, even if it struggles against the Sandcore. Speaking of which, I'm hoping the presence of Delphox in Team Preview pressures the Tyranitar into showing up, because in case you haven't noticed, the rest of my team kind of feasts on Tyranitar. As for the set itself, it's pretty basic. Heatwave as usual, which does big damage to a lot of my opponent's team. Psyshock over Psychic is there to hit Araquanid harder, and Focus Blast as coverage for that Tyranitar. And we're max special attack modest, which still allows Mega Delphox to outspeed Timid Whimsicott. So not the Mega I'm revolving my game plan around, but definitely a strong attacker to have in the back pocket. So as far as the game plan goes, the leads are pretty flexible for me, but in general, I'm just going to always focus on having that Venusaur out next to one of Basket Legion, Gliscor, or Klefki. Those guys alleviate at least some pressure from the Medicham, and that allows Mega Venusaur to fire off big hits into the rest of the team to make progress. That is going to do it for the team builder though, so with all that said, let's get right into the battle. Okay, we're in against IMD. Let's take a look. What we have here, sorry to see in the game, making sure the stream's good. Okay, so we have Medicham, Whimsicott, Excadrill, T-Tar, Typhlosion, and Fable. So, no Araquanid is nice to see. That's about the only thing I'm relieved about though. These are all threats for sure. I'm thinking I want... Probably Basket Legion Klefki is my strongest lead without the Araquanid around. Water moves just feel pretty spammable, especially with Rain Dance support. And I think I'm going to use... I want Venusaur in the back. Do I want Kingambit or do I want Gliscor? Kingambit's nicer for trying to break through Clefable, and it's good against Sand. Gliscor... better against Medicham. I think I might go with Gambit. Let's try that on for size. Good luck, have fun to I Am Destroyer. Let's see what he brings. Okay, we have Typhlosion Whimsicott. Okay. So, oh yeah, he knows my items. This is okay. I'm just gonna go for Muddy Water plus Rain Dance. I think that's my best bet. If it is... If it is Scarf Typhlosion... Actually, no matter what it is, if the Whimsicott tailwinds, then Basket Legion is potentially in some trouble. Typhlosion. Shadow Ball actually doesn't KO, so I am just going to go for my play. Yeah. You see Tailwind, kind of expected. I'm expecting a Shadow Ball off of Typhlosion here.
See what we get. If it's just timid max, I should live. I don't. Oh shoot. Okay. Good to know. Okay. I'm thinking King Gambit in that case. Yeah, so Timid, no boosting item, was actually never supposed to KO there. Modest is a roll in my favor. I'm guessing it's a boosting item in that case. It's hard to say, though. I probably should have switched to King Gambit, maybe fearing the boosting item, but how would I know that, right? I think I'll go King Gambit now. Alright. And I have options. I can Iron Head the Whimsicott, I can Sucker Punch the Typhlosion. I think I'm gonna Iron Head the Whimsicott. And then I could switch out to Venusaur with Klefki. I don't know what Klefki's doing here besides just like a Thunder Wave, I guess. Typhlosion being here is just kind of an issue. I think I will T-Wave the Typhlosion. Okay, we get a Thunder Wave on something, presumably. We actually don't, because it's the T-Tar. Okay. What do we see here? So yeah, Thunder Wave, whatever. Honestly, Klefki, I'm not sure what it's doing for me here. We do see a Moonblast, which means that King Gambit had its thing broken. But let's see. Iron Head takes Whimsicott to Sash. But Sand takes it, so we're good. So now that's T-Tar killing Whimsicott. Little unfortunate that I am now at Sash. Medicham. This is all kinds of not great. I'm going to Protect and probably T-Wave the Medicham. I could Dazzling Gleam, there's an argument for that. I don't see it exactly. I think it's between Thunder Waving the Medicham and going for Reflect. I kind of have to go for it. This will be good to see what they're targeting into. I think Klefki has enough bulk with Reflect up that it'll live the turn. See a Fake Out from King Gambit. Okay. Yep. And then Fake Out. I said Fake Out. Protect from King Gambit. Klefki does get flinched by the Fake Out, but that means T-Tar. Yes, Low Kick. Low Kicking to King Gambit, so we stayed decently safe this turn. I suppose there would be an argument for switching King Gambit out here into Venusaur. Maybe if I'm thinking Sucker into the Medicham and maybe a Reflect. Sets Venusaur up for the best possible situation. I think King Gambit's definitely going down here. We get good damage, though. That's really good damage. Okay. So, Medi KOs King Gambit. What's Tyranitar doing this turn? Dragon Dance. Okay. Gotcha, gotcha. Tailwind gone, but that never mattered. We've seen Fake Out in close combat from the Medicham. I have to imagine it is Zen Headbutt. Alright, so Mega. I'm thinking Giga Drain into Tyranitar, maybe? Or I could actually protect... Do I need a Mega? I might as well. Mega, protect... There's no question about what I'm doing here. And I'll go for a D-Gleam, which should take out the Medicham. That's the goal. See what protects come out from my opponent's side. My protect comes out first, which means Medicham probably is not protecting here. I think they doubled into Venusaur. They did. Okay. Yeah. We get a Dazzling Gleam off. KO's the Medicham. Very nice. So Typhlosion's back in. It is back to 2v2. Okay, I'm going to Giga Drain the T-Tar and Rain Dance, I think. I can't protect on Venusaur, I just did that, so I can't like T-Wave protect or something like that. I think this should be good. I'm not going to bother calculating the Typhlosion. It hits me, it hits me. What else am I going to do? So I'm going to Rain Dance. Depower a potential Eruption. No protects went off. Crunch, this should not do much. Okay, what does the Typhlosion do? Heat Wave. Rain. So this is okay. Crit Klefki, okay. And Burn Venusaur, wow. I mean, sure, whatever. Okay, I think now... Probably going to make the same play. I'm going to Giga Drain into the T-Tar. This time I will T-Wave the Typhlosion. This doesn't do that much for me. I'm not sure a slow to Typhlosion would actually underspeed Venusaur. Let's just double check. If it's Scarf, then I'm sure it doesn't. Yeah, Venusaur would still be slower. But I guess that's good information anyway. We can get the full para chance, it's only 1 in 8, but it's better than nothing. Let's go for it. And Klefki gets to do something, which it might not be able to do otherwise. Okay, if it's Scarf, then it'll still outspeed Venusaur. We're gonna see. Yeah, Crunch comes out. Still not too much damage. And it's not Scarf. Okay. So Venusaur KOs T-Tar, and it's now just Typhlosion, which is still very threatening. What do we see? Shadow Ball? Into Venusaur. Whew, okay. But it's slower now, which is pretty cool. I need to hit this thing with everything I got. I think Burn takes me down next turn. It's not Scarf, which means it could be protecting. What does Burn do? 1/16? 187 divided by 16. Oh, if it's the 16th, I should live the turn. I might as well D-Gleam Klefki. Why the heck not? Okay. Then Klefki single target Gleam. Not enough. Oh, am I gonna lose this? Ah, man. Alright. I guess there's a small chance for me, right? There's nothing to do with the Dazzling Gleam, and I expect to lose, but there's a shot. Yeah, okay. Yep. Alright, so unfortunate that we lose that first game. But it was very close, and I made a couple mistakes that I think I can fix. So, I need to write down what they used. So they led with Typhlosion, Whimsicott, and they had Cheetar Medicham in the back. I had Basket Legion Klefki with Venusaur and Gambit in the back. Oh, very close. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and get going with battle number 2. So, the lead Typhlosion, definitely a huge problem, right? I could just lead Venusaur. We could go with the Venusaur Gliscor lead. That's still pretty bad in Typhlosion, right? Maybe Venusaur King Gambit helps against that. Or Venusaur Klefki. Klefki you have to reflect up in case Medicham is a lead. And then Basket Legion. I mean, Basket Legion is good. But Typhlosion just hanging around with and Tailwind is just a problem. You could go Venusaur Klefki. Klefki's good into Medicham, and Rain Dance helps against the Typhlosion. And then you have Gambit. Is Delphox worth running at all? I kind of don't think so. Maybe Gliscor and back. To deal with the Medicham. Yeah, I'm not super sure. This is a tough one. Tough game 2 to go into. But we'll try it. We get Whimsicott Medicham. Okay. So what I think I'm going to do here is probably switch out to Gliscor to deal with the Medicham. No reason to Rain Dance. We get T-Wave. I don't see... I don't see why another Tailwind wouldn't be coming out, although they don't really need it to outspeed me. Could Reflect. Yeah, it helps Gliscor switch in too. Yeah, Medicham Mega Evolves. Cool. And Fake Out into Klefki. Sure. And we see a Tailwind go up. Like I said, I'm not super concerned about that. Like, I kind of built this team to just not care too much about Tailwind. Like, I'm not even going to set up my own Tailwind with Gliscor. I don't see the point. So I think I'm going to dual Wing Beat into Medicham, probably. So let's see, Gliscor into their Medicham. So I'm going to dual Wing Beat this and Dazzling Gleam. What could they switch into that? Nothing really loves taking that. I mean, T-Tar is okay to take like a dual Wing Beat, but it's Gliscor. Okay, Whimsicott Moonblast. Oh, that's so much damage. Great. A crit, okay. That's pretty bad. What do I do against that, huh? Well, I have Kingambit. Kingambit needs to come out. It can't be Venusaur against that thing. Okay, let's check Kingambit into the Medicham. With one Supreme Overlord boost, I feel like I should take that kill. That's what they want to go for. I might protect Kingambit and go for another D-Wing. I think that's what I'm going to do. Whimsicott switches out. Interesting. Okay. Medicham can't KO Lefty, I'm pretty sure. So there's more big damage. Well, upper hand. That's fun. Okay. Oh, did I crit the Medicham? Yes, I did. Okay. Alright, cool. Well, Kingambit and Venusaur are looking so good in that case. And they have Clefable. Oh, okay. I think I'm just going to Iron Head that thing. And I can Deep Gleam, I can Reflect. I'm going to D-Gleam. We just want damage into these guys. T-Tar can Dragon Dance, but I can Reflect the next turn if it does that. Yep. Survive with Kingambit. We'll get an Iron Head off on the Clefable. I put a decent amount of speed on this guy so that I could outspeed. And they're running a whole bunch of speed on Clefable. That is interesting. Okay. Are they like max speed on? Oh wait, is their Tailwind up? I messed that up. Oh well. So Clef has Air Slash, which does make sense. I think I'm gonna Sludge Bomb the Clef. And I might as well... Oh, did I Mega? Very important. I don't know if I did or not, but very important. Sludge Bomb, Clef. And we will Reflect. Yeah. Because Tyranitar is going to be left standing, able to do whatever it wants. Oh, okay. T-Tar is just going to be there. Alright. So, I mean, Reflect's still good to set up for later, when the T-Tar is around. How much is this doing? Doesn't quite KO. Air Slash misses. Oh, that's awesome for me. Okay. Oh, and it was Unaware Clef. I don't think I noted that before, but that's another Keytar kill for Clef. So Clef able to kill my King Gambit. Keytar is same as Clef. Alright. I'm going to Sludge Bomb into the Whimsicott, and Reflects up. We're just gonna Deep Gleam, probably? Deep Gleam or Rain Dance? Aside from the small bit of Sand Chip, I don't see the point of Rain Dance. So might as well just Deep Gleam. Yeah, Tailwind. I mean, the Keytar's not going to hurt me too much. Ice Punch. Freeze probably is what it's going for. Okay. Cool. Alright. Venusaur KOs Whimsicott. And it's just Keytar, so I think we're fine. Okay. I keep losing a Mon really early in these games, but this time I was actually able to claw it back. Wasn't quite able to the first time. Oh yeah, Giga Drain. Rain Dance. Actually, why not just D-Gleam, right? Cool. Alright, so do take game 2. Yeah, both King Gambit and Gliscor felt so wasted, but it's a great sign that even though they did, Venusaur won me the game, with Klefki by its side for Reflect. I think they're going to pivot back to Typhlosion for game 3. I absolutely should stick with Venusaur. So their lead last game was Medicham, Whimsicott. Whimsicott's always going to be a lead. Gliscor Venusaur, I think, looks good, except Typhlosion is hanging around, you know? We could still try Venusaur Gliscor. Or do I just stick with Venusaur Klefki, except that if Medicham's in, I'm gonna have to switch to Gliscor again. Or maybe even bring in something like Basky Legion. Or you could go Venusaur Basky Legion. Real quick, how does Basky Legion do into Medicham? It's Psycho Cut, so yeah. Venusaur, Basky Legion, Klefki, and ooh, big question: King Gambit or Gliscor? We know it's Gambit. Yeah. All right. Let's try that for size. Yeah, Medicham Psycho Cut will not be KOing Basky Legion. Okay. This feels like a pretty good lead for me. And it's Mold Breaker on Excadrill, probably for Levitate Delphox. Or Megaing. We're going to Sludge Bomb into the Clefable slot. And I think this is a great opportunity for Basky Legion. We're just going to Muddy Water, right? Mold Breaker Excadrill we saw, so it's not going to be Sand Rush, meaning if Keytar switches in, we still hit it really hard. Extra High Horsepower to Basket Legion. Not going to take it. Alright, let's just make sure that I Mega'd. Sludge Bomb, Clef. Muddy Water. There we go. That is my play. Doesn't look like a switch out is happening, which feels good for me. Let's see though. We have Clefable going for its Mega. No Mega Chan is cool. Is it Scarf on Drill? I live, but it was Scarf Drill. This is gonna feel pretty good. Yeah, we take the KO on Exit Drill. And then we should be taking this KO on Clefable. It is pretty bulky, so... No, we're good. Okay, awesome. Basket Legion finally getting some use in this battle. And we see their final two already. We see the Typhlosion. So yeah, the Typhlosion, it gets a free Heat Wave KO onto Basket Legion because the Clef is the Whimsicott is going to Tailwind. I could focus the Typhlosion actually. Is it worth switching out at all? Not really. I could actually protect Venusaur here. Protect Venusaur and let this guy go down. Of course, he could go for Shadow Ball straight into Basket Legion, and the protect is useless. But making sure Venusaur is at max health this turn, I think, is pretty important. Goes for Eruption, so yeah. I think I am glad I went with this. Alright, this is fine. So, Typhlosion KOs. It's got Eruption, Heat Wave, and Shadow Ball. Last move probably Protect, if I had to guess. So Klefki can set Rain Dance. King Gambit can use Sucker Punch to threaten the Typhlosion. I think I'm leaning King Gambit. Because as long as I'm hitting the Typhlosion, or like threatening to hit that Typhlosion, it can't like just Eruption spam, you know? That's what I'm trying to prevent. And then Venusaur I think is free to Sludge Bomb the Whimsicott. Yeah, it kind of... Sucker Punch pressure just kind of lets Venusaur do what it wants to. I imagine a Protect is coming out from the Typhlosion if it has it. Okay, yeah. What's Whimsicott doing? Yeah. Sucker Punch fails. That's what I wanted to see. Moonblast comes out from Whimsicott. It's gotta be like an invested Whimsicott, jeez. Sash, we've seen that already. If I could get a poison, that'd be pretty cool. But no, we don't. Yeah, if I make the same play here, Sucker Punch, Sludge Bomb, I think I'm fine. We've seen the Typhlosion has 3 attacks to protect. Sunny Day. Okay, I'm still Sucker Punching. Yeah, okay, we take it. And then Venusaur KOs Whimsicott. Okay, awesome. Cool. That was a wild game. Wild set overall. But yeah, Venusaur really proving just how good it is. Thank you, Venusaur. Yeah, I will take the Typhlosion. Such a big threat, I think. I don't know how the game 2 would have went if they had brought Typhlosion. King Gambit is like such a good threat towards it, so it was nice to have that in the back no matter what. But yeah, it just put so much pressure on Venusaur. The offensive core of them, like Typhlosion and the Medicham, was like, how the heck do I beat that? But I think my position was good enough there that it kind of worked out. Okay, with all that said, good games to I Am Destroyer. It was so fun, very close. And yeah, with all that said, we're up to 2-0 for the season. 3 more weeks in this 5-week season, so we'll see how the rest goes, and I will see you guys next time.